Hey everybody, this is a video of the 1990 Mitsubishi Delica Star Wagon 4x4. I'm going to do an engine video, so we'll do a little walkthrough of the diesel engine and you can hear what it sounds like. So for this engine, it being a diesel, there's actually I've installed a manual glow plug bypass. You can see it's right down here. It's easy to get to when you're sitting in the driver's seat. So what happens is you turn the vehicle to accessory and then give it it's a momentary switch. So 3, 4, 5 seconds. There's a little LED that tells you that the glow plugs are active. And then what that does is it warms the glow plugs so the diesel can immediately become combustible in the engine. So usually on a warm day you don't have to warm it up too much, but like on the colder days sometimes you have to cycle maybe once or twice, 5 seconds each with the glow plugs. But after that the engine starts right up. So there you have it, 2.5 liter diesel. Fires right up, sounds really good. This is the glow shift 3-in-1 gauge, and I've got this tied to the temperature of the turbo. So right now the turbo temperature is at about 200 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's important to keep an eye on the turbo temperature when you're driving around in it. Driving around town is fine. Whenever you drive up, like I've got mountain passes here in Colorado, it will get warm, and so you have to be real careful about monitoring the temperature. You don't want the turbo to get too hot because it will just get too warm and cause problems. So but yeah, that's what that's for. It's mounted right here, super easy to see right in your eyesight with the speedometer and the tach. So I'll go ahead and show you what the engine looks like. So the engine is actually located under the passenger seat, and there are 2 buckles that hold the engine bay down. And so there's a buckle on this side and matching on the other side. And so they're just momentary buckles here that pop open, real easy to get. And then you lift the whole console up, and that's where how you service the engine. So there's a little strap by the passenger seat belt that hooks onto this part of the engine, or I'm sorry, the seat here, and that's what keeps the engine bay open. So here it is, the Cyclone diesel as it's known, 2.5 liter. It's a good sounding engine. It's got a stock radiator, stock fan shroud. It had the timing belt done on it at 103,301 kilometers. It had the injector rebuilt. I haven't had any problems with it. It's been a super reliable engine. Like I say, you just have to make sure that it's got fresh oil and that it doesn't get too hot, and it'll pretty much go anywhere else you want to. It'll take you anywhere you want to go. So here's I'll do a little rev of the engine so you can hear what that sounds like. Got a good strong engine in it, haven't had any problems. Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to that. And if you notice here, I've got 2 batteries set up. I've got there's enough space in the Delica battery compartment to run 2 12-volt batteries. So you can run this is the engine battery, and then I have a battery isolator circuit, and what that does is it charges a secondary battery. I like to call it a house battery. And the way that it works is the alternator charges 1 battery at a time. So it always starts with the starter battery, and once it's sufficiently charged to 13.7 volts, then it will check this battery and see if it needs to be charged. And if they're both charged, then the isolator just automatically shuts off. So it's a real slick setup. I haven't had any problems with it, and it's nice because you always have 2 batteries. So in a pinch, for some reason, if the starter battery was dead, you could change the terminals over, or you could literally take small cables and jump off in the second battery. I've done that before, so it works pretty well. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and lower this. This is the USB cable that connects the radio to a USB port I've got hidden in the console here, which is kind of a nice little feature. That way you can put your smartphone in the console and use the CarPlay or Android Auto. One last thing I want to point out is, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a turbo timer right here, which is super handy. What that does is it keeps the engine running until it reaches a safe temperature, and then it will automatically shut it off. So if you're driving on the highway, you know, this count right now, it's at 10 seconds, but this count might get up to, you know, 45, 50, 60 seconds. And what happens is the temperature's increased in the engine, so whenever you come to stop and put it in park and to take the key out, it's going to count down before the engine shuts off. And so it makes sure that the engine allows itself to cool off properly before it's shut down. So it's a great little feature. I haven't had any problems with it. It was a little mystifying at first whenever I pulled the key out and the engine was still running, and then I figured out that it was the turbo timer and everything was okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the engine now, and you can see that it'll do a 10-second countdown before it actually kills the engine. So here we go. And there you go. Engine shut off. Everything's good.